Welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast, where you'll discover business, mindset, and leadership strategies to put your music business on autopilot. I'm your host, Dr. Fabiana Claure, pianist and former university professor turned seven-figure entrepreneur dedicated to empowering artists worldwide. Whether you're a seasoned musician or other creative entrepreneur, this podcast is your guide to financial, artistic, and lifestyle freedom. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the art of giving back, social impact through music entrepreneurship. One of the things that I notice happens when I speak to musicians around building their online businesses and creating premium programs, elevating their price points, and finding ways where they can increase the perception of value in the work that they're doing so that they can actually not need so many people to buy their services, but instead be able to attract premium buyers who will be able to work with them at the rates and the prices that they need in order to be able to sustain themselves in their business. But inevitably, when this conversation happens, the idea of potentially leaving other people behind who may not afford them is something that comes as a very valid concern. And so today's episode is going to help you address any tension that you may be feeling when you are contemplating the idea of building an online music business in a premium capacity with higher ticket rates, higher charges, and being able to at the same time know that you can actually create massive impact and social impact through your work as long as you are focusing on working in the smart way and building the right models in your business. So let's talk about this issue. When you're thinking about building an online business and creating higher ticket programs where you can work with fewer people at least at the beginning, and be able to charge higher rates and therefore not needing to have a massive following or a massive amount of people wanting to buy your programs at the very beginning of the process, which is always more difficult, right? The idea of being able to charge higher price points and work with fewer students, especially at the beginning, is very enticing because that means you can get people who are really connected and committed to your vision and to your values and who are willing to move things around in their own resources in order to prioritize what you are offering. But then, of course, the idea of what happens with all the other people that you want to be able to serve that may not be in a position to be able to afford these premium programs, what happens with them? How do you continue feeling that you are being of service and impacting that type of client, right? And here's where I'm going to talk to you about some strategies where you can reconcile that tension, because actually the purpose of building your brand online and creating an image and a vision and a message in your community is one in which you have a lot of free content that you could put together, a lot of free value that you could bring to your community in an effort of establishing your name and establishing awareness about what you do and being able to actually generate interest in the work that you're doing and start conversations around what you do and educate your audience about what's possible for their future, whether it's around developing better musical skills, better proficiency on performance anxiety, better proficiency on being able to apply for auditions and win those successfully, whatever it is that your service is about. When you realize that a big percentage of your efforts are going to center around adding value to your community for free in order to gain attention, to educate your potential clients, and to just build that brand awareness and brand loyalty, then you will no longer feel that tension around what happens if you charge higher prices in your programs, you restructure your business in a way that is more strategic, build a premium base, right, of clients. What happens with all the other people that can't afford it or that are not in a position to move things around, or for one reason or another may not even qualify for credit options or anything like that. So let's talk about what happens when you build an online business. When you create the beginning stepping stones of building your music business as an entrepreneur involves really starting a conversation with your audience, creating a topic and talking about a problem that you know your potential clients are experiencing. And in order for them to be able to understand and appreciate any solution that you may want to offer them down the road, there needs to be a significant amount of education that you provide to your community that informs them what is it that they're trying to fix. What is it about the way they're trying to fix their problems that is wrong, that is, ill-advised, that is misinformed, that is keeping them stuck? And what do you suggest they can do instead, right? And that is a process that takes time, and it takes a lot of brand awareness and loyalty building over the course of, several weeks, months, and even in the long term, even years, right? And so when you realize that in order for you to create this level of awareness in your community, you will be putting out content on a regular basis, sometimes daily basis, that is intended to bring awareness to the problem, to help people who may be stuck, who may feel that there's nothing else they can do to solve their problems, to actually help them realize that there is a solution, and to educate them about the alternatives and the options. When you realize that a big important part of your job will actually be centered around bringing that awareness to your audience and giving value, adding trainings for free. These can be through resources that you can build, lead magnets, PDFs, ebooks, VSL videos, any sort of webinar, any sort of conversion event that you may want to create, whether it's a 5-day masterclass or just a one-off webinar. Anything that you're going to build to generate that awareness is already an act of giving, an act of social impact. Because through that initial information, the community around you, your potential clients, will actually develop a new level of awareness and education around what's possible as it relates to the businesses they're trying to solve, to the challenges they're trying to solve. And so the good news is that when you realize that, in fact, just the very nature of building your music business involves becoming a content creator, the minute you decide if you want to have this type of monetizable program where people access your knowledge and pay you for that instead of for your time, that is the minute that you automatically become a content creator. So you're not only a musician and a music creator, but now you become a content creator, and you have this beautiful new channel of creativity that you can download your knowledge and let people access that and do it in a way where it's completely free, right? Yes, of course, there's things that you can give and you can charge for this and that. Of course, if at some point you want to release a book, you can use that, and an album. Obviously, anything that you may want to do as an artist, you're obviously going to want to charge for that, not because you're going to depend on that income necessarily, because we've been talking a lot in this podcast all throughout these different episodes of the importance of having a deeper business model behind whatever art piece you're going to put out into the world, right? Having a way for people to work with you further beyond just that audio, that album, that downloadable PDF or whatever it is, or YouTube video. There needs to be something that you're selling behind all of that that gives them a true monetizable path, right? So coming back to this idea of really impacting your community and building this awareness around what you do and significantly contributing to your audience in this way, this is how I want you to see it. Most of the people that are going to be listening to your content on a regular basis, the majority of those people may not be in a position to work with you if you have a premium program. But through the work that you do with your content creation, these can be weekly live shows that you do. I do these every week in my own community. I have a Facebook group, Musicians Creating Prosperity Facebook group, and I bring in live trainings every week, for example, completely for free. And, we also have a weekly newsletter that we present to our email list, and I have this podcast. This is just the clear example of adding value to our community as a way of bringing awareness to options and to possibilities and opening people's minds to a better solution to whatever they're trying to achieve, right? This very podcast is the next living testament of what I'm saying. It's a free resource, right? And so this is how you're going to be able to reconcile any tension that you might be feeling about charging premium rates for your services, yet also being able to create a level of awareness and education and accessibility to your knowledge that is actually widespread, that can be sent out throughout your entire ecosystem of networks and connections, right? The other thing you want to keep in mind as you are looking for ways to expand your social impact through your music entrepreneurship platforms is the fact that when you work as a musician, as an artist, the very nature of what you do is to create beauty in the world. It's to expand an outlet of emotional expression, whether it's yours, whether it's that of your students, whether it's the audiences you get to perform or for. The art of being a musician is, by its very definition, it's such a giving career. We give all the time because what we are doing is always in the highest expression of generating a, beautiful environment in our community, creating art, creating an outlet of emotional connection, bringing communities together, even people who don't speak the same languages, right? The very thing we do as musicians is just to tap into this universal language that allows cultures to unite, that allows people from different ideologies, from different languages, from different points of the world even, to connect through this beautiful universal language that is music. And so in the process of just trying to continue being an active musician and not feeling that you need to give up on your creative outlets because you need to make a living, right? Pursuing a pathway where you can balance being an artist with creating a sustainable lifestyle business. When you commit to continuing to power through and being a musician creating prosperity, you are already creating an outlet of impact in the world. You are contributing in a way that will help your students, connect more meaningfully to those around them, have that outlet of expression, to not need to find technology or, other devices to find, pleasure and satisfaction, but instead to be able to tap into a long form art form like music and connect in this deeper, meaningful, more stimulating way than any other way they could, right? What a beautiful legacy to build if you can tap into this and make sure that your cup is full enough and you're not working in a way that's inefficient so that you can show up and actually serve your students with your entire being, with everything you want them to experience and live and benefit from. So I want you to also just give yourself a pat on the back, right? It's like you are already, just by being in this industry, being a musician, you are already creating social impact. So all you need to focus on is understanding that when you build an online business, you will create content to build awareness, to get people around you, to spread your message. It's part of the job. Let me put it that way. This is your storefront. Your online content is the way you will be able to create awareness. If you were to go to a store, you could try on clothes, but when you are creating an online business, your only storefront is your information, the content, the knowledge that you're able to transfer and put online. And that is typically for free. So what a beautiful way to bridge that tension that you may be feeling. If you've ever wondered, well, but if I charge higher prices, what am I going to do in terms of expanding my impact to those who cannot afford what I'm doing? That is by connecting the dots and making sure that you are actually being a content creator, adding value to your community, right? The other reason why I'm so committed to this is that when you sell online high-ticket programs, premium offers, a lot of the ways you're going to do this is through one-on-one conversations. You're going to be talking to people. You're not simply going to send people to click to buy on a random website. Typically, this is going to come as a result of you having one-on-one conversations and truly understanding what people need. And let me tell you something. These conversations are not only vehicles for you to make a sale and to get a result in this monetizable way. It's also a way for you to get to know your audience better and to understand what they need. And so just by having these conversations, which many of them will not result in a direct sale at the time, you are already adding value once again. Why? Because when you can provide a space to hear people, to allow them to be felt, to feel, seen, heard, and understood, and to create this space for someone to openly share what they need, what they want, what their dreams are, what they're struggling with, and have someone listen to them wholeheartedly, that is also giving, that is serving, right? So I want you to start looking at the way you build your business in a more holistic way, where you're not necessarily going to worry about not being able to be accessible to certain people, but instead realize that there are some elements of your work that will be in a premium price point format to those who want to come in and work fully with you. and go through the A to Z of your methodology, yes, but also you are going to, just by the very nature of being a content creator, you are going to build a legacy body of work that will allow you to stand the test of time and impact thousands, if not millions of people over the course of your lifetime. So get excited, continue keeping up with your content, continue committing to making a difference, making an impact. Every time you turn your camera on, every time you stand behind your microphone, you create content. Every time you type, you write, you are expanding your impact. You are creating a difference. So keep on going, continue listening to this podcast, and let me know what your key takeaway is from this episode. Thank you for watching. Let's prosper together.